What up, everybody? It's your boy Jerry coming to you from Las Vegas, Nevada, or as they say here in Las Vegas, Nevada. I'm very excited. I just shipped the $10, $1,750 guaranteed on the WSOP online tournament, and I'm very excited about it. So I was texting my boy about it, and he's like, "Oh man, that vlog run good." And I was like, "Well, I wasn't vlogging it, but what I decided I could do is just run through some of the hands and kind of go over them with you. So at least you guys can see some hands. I know that's what I like to see when I watch the vlogs, the hand histories. So I can do it. Just run back through the hand history and kind of go over a couple of them. I think that's a pretty good idea. So tell me what you think. Don't forget, like and subscribe.
Alright, so in this first hand that we're going to go over, the blinds are 175, 250. We're in middle position. We got 13-7, as you can see right here. And we get dealt pocket fours in middle position. There is a middle position limp, and we go ahead and raise over the limp, 15-38. And the small blind calls and the limper folds. So we go heads up to the flop, and boom, we flop middle set. He donk leads out for min bet. And at this point, I go ahead and raise to 1400. I guess you could make a case for just flatting, but if he has a jack, he shouldn't fold. And if he's got a club draw, he probably shouldn't fold. Or even a straight draw, he probably shouldn't fold. So I don't really mind the raise that much. I guess he was just leading with air and he folded, so probably wasn't going to get much value on later streets anyway. So no big deal though. We go ahead and take down a 6K pot, and we're steamrolling. This hand is about 5 hands after the pocket fours hand, and this hand, after looking back at it, I really don't think I played very well at all. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at what happened and how I played. In this hand, the blinds are 200 and 400, and we are on the button. We go ahead and get dealt ace of hearts, 8 of diamonds. It folds to the middle position, who limps, and we raise over the limper in position, and he makes the call. We go heads up to the flop of ace queen 4 with 2 diamonds. He checks it over to us, and we go ahead and make a bet here for value, charging all the draws, all the straight draws and flush draws that there are. Now this is where I think my first mistake happens. I bet 12 into 37, which is third pot. With all the draws out there, I can probably size up in this spot and charge the draws the max. So here's my first mistake, I think. He makes the call. We go heads up to the turn, which is the jack of hearts, and he checks it over to me again. At this point, I think we can continue betting. There's still a ton of draws we can get value from, possibly worse aces we can get value from. So for some reason in the moment I check it back. I don't know why I checked it back. Maybe I thought I couldn't get 3 streets of value, which I think is a mistake. I think I can from the flush draws. People don't fold flush draws. So I think I make a mistake here once again, and I check it back when we go heads up to the river, which is an offsuit 9, and he leads out for pot. Okay, well, what do I do now? Well, all the flush draws bricked, obviously. So you're looking at 10-8, King 10 are about the only hands I think he can value bet here. I think Ace Queen, Ace Jack, any 2 pairs I hear from earlier. I guess Ace 9 is also a possibility. And we have the 8 of diamonds, so we block 10-8 of diamonds. So really, 10-8 of hearts, King 10 of diamonds, King 10 of hearts, and Ace 9 are about his only value hands I think he can bet here. And even Ace 9's a stretch. He might just check call with a hand like that. I don't know. But obviously all the flush draws bricked. So I think with all that in mind, I go ahead and make the call. And he turns over 10 deuce of hearts, and we take it down. So I don't think I played the hand particularly well. I think we ended up getting max value at the end of it all, but I don't think I played it very well. Tell me what you guys think. It's an interesting hand. This is about 4 hands after the ace 8 hand that I played so bad. Blinds are still 2 and 400, and we get dealt ace 3 of clubs in middle position. Folds to us, we go ahead and raise up to 1100, just under 3x. We get one call from the cutoff, and it folds to the big blind. Now the big blind, this guy here, he's the one that I just beat in the pot where he tried to bluff on the river with 10 deuce of hearts. Well, he 3-bets to 4,200. And when it gets back to me, I think about it for a minute, and I decided that he's obviously, I don't know, maybe not a maniac, but a little crazy. And not only that, he just lost the pot, and I just snapped him off, with top pair, no kicker, when he bets the river. Anyway, I just think he's kind of steaming maybe a little bit. And when I open, he's trying to come after me a little bit. And with a relevant ace blocker, I decided to get a little sneaky here, and I go ahead and actually 4-bet this hand to 11,450. Now, when I do this, I'm almost expecting the cutoff to fold almost every time. So it's not really him I'm worried about. When I make it this sizing, I've almost made up my mind before I chose this sizing that if this big blind jams over, I just can't fold. I have too much money in there. I'm going to be calling about 10K to win a pot that's going to be 45K or so. So I'm getting 4.5 to 1. And there's almost no hand I'm up against unless he has like aces specifically that I'm not getting those odds to call. And like I said, given the hand a few hands before this, I feel like he's kind of doing it kind of wide. So when I 4-bet to this size, I'm going to snap him off no matter what he does, hoping he folds, but if he jams, I'm snapping him off. And, well, that's exactly what happens. He goes ahead and jams it all in, and I snap call. And, well, we ran into it. But luckily, we get bailed out on the flop. And you got to run good in tournaments sometimes, I guess. So that is 2 out of 3 hands that I played awfully, and we got away with. So that was a pretty interesting hand, I thought. So here's a spot I don't necessarily think, once again, I played very well. The blinds are 500, 1,000. We get dealt ace queen offsuit in the cutoff, and we go ahead and raise it up 2.75x, and it folds to the big blind with 31 bigs, and he jams. And I'm sitting here with ace queen. I got it paused right now, so it's looked like I'm tanking or whatever, but in reality, I actually snapped it off in this spot. And once again, looking back, I don't know why I did that. I know ace queen's a good hand, but against a 31 big blind jam, I probably should fold this most of the time. I don't think this guy was going too crazy in the moment, so I don't know why I just snapped it off, but I did. And actually, it turned out that we're have a pretty good scenario. He's got pocket 10, so we're flipping. But as it goes, we lose the flip, and we lose half our stack, and we now have 33K, 33 big blinds. The blinds are 600 and 1,200 with 150 ante, and we are in the small blind, and we get dealt ace 3 of diamonds. Folds around to the button who limps, and I'm going to go ahead and raise it up here in the small blind with my suited wheel ace, the new aces, right? So I raise it up to 3,600, gets back to the button who calls. Now we go heads up to the flop, which comes king, jack, jack with 2 clubs. In all honesty, in the moment, I actually wanted to bet my ace high for value here, because I think a lot of times ace high can be good in this spot. But I ended up checking, and the reason is because I didn't want to bet and then get raised, and then I just have to fold. There's literally nothing I can do, and I didn't want to do that because I honestly thought my ace high can be good in this spot a lot of times. So I go ahead and check, planning to call if he bets. Fine if he doesn't, fine if he does. And that's what he does. He goes ahead and bets 4,800, and as planned, I go ahead and call. The turn comes an offsuit king, and I go ahead and check it to him, and he checks it back. So when he checks it back on the turn, I can almost eliminate a king from his range, because why would he bet the king on the flop and then when he fills up on the turn not bet it? Especially if I can have a jack here a lot of times, and why would he not want to get value from my jack? And if I do have a king, we're chopping, so why would he not bet here? So I can almost eliminate kings from his range most of the time. He could possibly still have a jack, but maybe not. So I check. It goes check check on the turn, and we go to a river, which is a 3 of clubs. I know I pair the 3, but it's irrelevant. I have kings and jacks with an ace. At this point, I check again to him, fully planning to call any reasonable bet. Just thinking my size good. And I check, and he checks it back, and we go ahead and take it down versus 7-8. So that was an interesting bet on the flop when I checked it to him. And we take down a decent sized pot. And blinds are still at 6 and 12. And we are in the cutoff, and we go ahead and get dealt ace 10 of spades. It folds around to us, and we go ahead and make a standard open, and only the small blind calls, and we go heads up to the flop. Flop comes king 5-4, and he checks it over to us. Obviously, you can c-bet in this spot for sure, but I've been playing relatively aggressive and c-betting a lot of flops, so I decided to work in some checks in this spot as well. So I go ahead and check it back, and the turn is an ace of hearts, bringing in the front door flush. When he checks again to us, I think for sure we should definitely start betting for value with our pair of aces, and that's exactly what we do. We bet just over a third pot. Obviously, we can get value from worse aces. If he has a flush draw, we can get value from that as well. So we go ahead and bet, and he makes the call, and we go heads up to not a very good river, the jack of hearts, and he checks it to us. I really don't think there's any merit in betting. We're not getting called by anything worse. So I go ahead and check it back, fully expecting to lose to any kind of flush, and we don't. We actually lose to king jack, so not exactly what I thought would happen, but so we lose a little pot there. Nothing. Blinds are 1250 and 2500, and we are in the small blind, and we get dealt ace jack offsuit. Folds around to the hijack, who has just over 20 bigs, and he min raises to 5k, and it gets to us. In the moment, I'm pretty sure I thought about 3-betting, and if I did 3-bet and he jammed, I think I was just gonna have to go with it, and I didn't necessarily know if I wanted to do that, if I wanted to go with the hand. So I make maybe not the best play, and I go ahead and just flat here, and the big blind comes along. So we go 3 ways to the flop, which comes pretty good for our hand. It comes jack 5-3 with 2 clubs. We go ahead and check it over to the pre-flop raiser, who makes a half pot size bet, and I don't think there's anything to do here but call, which is what we do, and the big blind calls as well. So we still go 3 ways to the turn, which comes a deuce of hearts, bringing in the backdoor flush draw. And once again, I don't think there's anything to do here but check, and everybody checks to the initial raiser again, and he goes ahead and bets half pot again. Once again, I don't think there's anything really to do here but call. We did pick up a gutter ball as well, so we go ahead and call, and the big blind folds. We go heads up to the river, which is the 5 of hearts. He's only got 17k left. I'm gonna check here and let him bluff it off if he's still gonna continue bluffing. So I'm gonna check call in this spot. I check it over to him, he checks it back, and we are good. So don't have to worry about picking it off or possibly being beat somehow, and we pick up a really nice pot there. Forward pretty far in the tournament. We've just been kind of slowly chipping up, haven't really won huge pots at all. So like I said, fast forward to this part in the tournament. Antes are 875, blinds are 3,500 and 7,000. We get dealt pocket tens on the button. Under the gun raises to 14,000, and it folds around to us. I'm pretty sure I debate on 3-betting in position here, but in the moment I just go ahead and flat call, which I don't think is the worst. The big blind comes along, so we go 3 ways to a flop of jack 6-3 with 2 spades. The big blind checks, and the pre-flop raiser checks as well, which I thought was interesting. I decided to go ahead and bet here. I feel like I can still get value from spade draws. I can get value from overcards, and maybe some kind of weird straight draw. I don't know. But I feel like there was value to be had. So I go ahead and bet, and the pre-flop raiser go ahead and calls. And we go heads up to the turn, which is a deuce of spades. So we go ahead and pick up additional equity with a spade draw here. And when he checks it over to us again, I feel like you can go either way. We obviously did pick up the equity with the spade draw, so we can continue betting. But I feel like if we continue betting, we're almost turning our hand into a semi-bluff at that point. I can also check back, which is what I actually do. Go ahead and take some showdown value and trying to get a showdown. The river comes an offsuit queen, and I don't know what it was, but as soon as I saw that card, I just did not like it for whatever reason. And especially when he bets out 22,000 into a pot of 88,000, so he bets a quarter pot. I don't know. I just really didn't like it. I mean, I just go ahead and fold in this spot. I don't know if I can call. Tell me what you think about this hand. This is an interesting spot, I feel like. I shouldn't really beat any of his value bets. So unless he's just a sicko and he's bluffing with quarter pot bet, hats off to you, bro. So we go ahead and fold, and we lose a decent pot here. We've made it all the way heads up in the tournament. We've only been playing a couple hands, and I'll just go ahead and play the last hand for you. We get dealt ace jack. We go ahead and raise it up on the button. He makes the call. Flop comes out all hearts. We have the nut flush draw. He checks. We bet. He calls. The turn's a brick. We jam. He calls, and we're actually behind. And we need to hit a jack or a heart, and we do. And ship it.
Hey guys, just wanted to give a big shout out to all those of you who stuck around for the end of the vlog, and I hope you enjoyed my going over of the hands that I played. We ended up shipping the tournament for $726, not bad for a $10 tournament. And I know I didn't play every hand perfectly, but I played it perfectly enough in that moment, I guess, and ran well enough to take it down. So looking forward to playing some more poker, and looking forward to bringing you guys some more content. So make sure you hit that thumbs up button for the like, and subscribe if you like the channel, and I'm going to be coming out with a lot more stuff. So thank you guys so much.